Everyone. In just a second, I'm going to be introducing author Vanya Erickson, and we're going to be talking about her brand new memoir called Boot Language, which is coming out this week. You're looking at the cover right here, and she is amazing. You are going to love her. So, everyone, here is Vanya. Hi, everyone. I am so excited because I'm speaking with author Vanya Erickson, and we are talking about her brand new book out this week called Boot Language. And she has it in her hand. She's going to show us the copy of it because I didn't get to see it. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I love that cover. So this
Thank
is a
you.
memoir. I love memoirs. And this story was so amazing. It's almost like after you get done reading it, you gotta have to take a deep breath. We have so much in common. My story is nowhere near like yours, but I have a couple of things that I feel like we have in common. And so when you're reading memoirs like this, they're so touching, and especially when it's about your childhood and crazy parents, and we all survive somehow. I don't know. you know
We do.
We do. And I see you're a grandma now, and I'm a grandma, and it's own different thing now.
Hmm.
I love it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love it. And so let you talk about it, and to the extent that you want to talk about it, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay. Um, do you want basically a summary
Yeah,
or?
yeah, because I want everybody to read it, and I just want to give everybody, a little
Okay.
snippet of what they have to look forward to.
Okay. Well, I'm the product of two very different parents. My father was a lieutenant commander in World War II aboard a battleship in the Pacific. And when he came home, this sort of bled into everything that happened in our life. He was still commanding, shall I put it that way. And then my mother, who is a very kind hearted but soft Christian Scientist who very devout, and so she was known for healings and her just many experiences in that. And so what I needed to do was to learn to understand both of their languages and learn how to um, behave in a specific way. A child of the 50s, 60s. Uh, Needed to do what her parents told her to do.
Hmm.
And so that's the story of me coming into my own and realizing I didn't need to um, behave in a way that was necessarily expected of me.
Right. Right. And I think as children, my mom was 17 when she had me, and my dad was 19. They were young, okay? And now they're both gone, just like your parents. And it's almost like you get a different perspective now that we're no longer dealing with them. We get a different perspective of how they were trying, okay?
Yeah.
And being parents ourselves and knowing, how hard we try. And so I can at least look back at them and feel a little bit differently about it than I did right after my childhood. Kind of like when you're going through your 20s and 30s and you're kind of resentful and you're kind of, mad that they weren't
Oh,
normal.
definitely, most definitely. I have a lot more grace about it all.
Mm,
Going through it, obviously, that was not where I was, but at the same time, I was always trying to find a way to see the goodness in any given situation. So
yes.
even when something horrific was happening, I think part of what I was doing was trying to alleviate the pressure of this experience by finding something lovely to look at, or some beautiful music, or anything that would, maybe a bird calling, or look how the mountain looks at this time of day, rather than completely focusing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, I only had one brother who was a year and a half younger than me. And so when I was reading your story, because you had other siblings, and I was wondering, like, I know my brother and I, like, because of my crazy parents, there were times that we hung on to each other because of them. It was kind of like an us them thing. And I wondered if you had that experience with your
Oh,
siblings.
definitely, especially with KK, Karen, my little sister,
Yeah.
because we were, like 18 months apart, and we're left at home. We're the last two children, so we were left at home during the darkest part of my father's decline, and mom's coming of age, if you will, because she found herself, and um, so Kiki and I, although we were very different, really clung to each other. I still count her as my best friend
Yeah.
because we just were we were born into this situation that we both had to carry the weight of.
Yeah. When you wrote this, how did she feel about it?
She's very quiet. She's a writer herself, although she likes to do, things about Poe and
Yeah.
short stories, poems. Um, she would occasionally ask to see something, but I think she was pretty hands off. Upon reflection, she really didn't want to. I think she just trusted me that I
Yeah.
was going to tell my truth. And so, yeah.
Because I found, like, with my brother and I, that we experienced, even though we were 18 months apart also, there were things we experienced differently, and there are things we can't talk about, like we talked about then, but it seems like as adults it kind of drove us a little bit apart, just because of different, and it's weird because as siblings, and then you had older siblings, it's like you kind of do have all your own stories, of what you
Yes.
experienced and how it affected you too.
Yes, most definitely. No, I think that KK experienced things very differently than I did. She was the favored child of my father's, and there was this sense of rivalry, but at the same time, which is a very interesting side note, is I felt I needed to be protective of her, and I didn't know why, other than she was younger than me, and I was
Yes.
getting a lot of treatment from father, and she wasn't, but we both had to do the kinds of things that he asked us to do, but I ended up being on the receiving end of some of the most difficult scenes,
Yes.
and so I think I I think there was this sense at the time for me that I just wanted to make sure it didn't happen to her.
Oh my God. I mean, I feel the exact same way. And I don't know that I can ever verbalize that to him. Okay. But I know that as a child, I felt so protective of him that, and I don't know how much we spared them. I felt like I did. I felt like I did. I felt like I
Yeah,
spared a lot of things from him, but I feel like we can connect on so. Like when you said that, I was like, it just so resonated with me because being the older
yeah,
sibling, like that we have that natural tendency to like want to protect them from what we're experiencing, and because of that, they got it a little bit better. But I don't know that they understand that. Maybe that's what
I'm
I'm
not.
saying.
I'm not sure. I'm sure she carries the weight of other feelings that she
Right.
had about Dad that I didn't. They have it totally. They had a totally different relationship. He was so much closer. He'd pull her aside and they'd chat. He thought she was so brilliant, and all of that. And I think I was just goofier and bolder, and would try to deflect anything when it got slightly tense.
Yeah.
So it draw the attention to myself.
Yeah. And my heart was with you in those times when I could feel like, when you were trying to get his attention. Because as a girl, like, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make our dads happy. And so I could really relate to you on that, because I was like, I didn't even realize at times that that's what I was doing, just to
Yeah,
try to end the drama between my parents, to try to be like some kind of neutralizer, like when there was tension there, and you obviously experienced that also when there was tension between the two of them. But I really relate, like, I had a heart for your mom because that Christian Scientist, sometimes I wasn't far. I have 6 children, okay, and there were a lot of things that I had a hard time with. I had a hard time with vaccinations and different things. So I really did have a heart for her, even though there were some extremes that, of course, but it wasn't. I mean, to have that kind of faith, I was kind of in awe of it a little bit.
yes. it is awe-inspiring. I mean, I I so love her. As a grandma now, and I reflect about how much better a grandmother she was than a mother. Just
Yeah.
thinking back at my daughters and their experience with her before she passed, and all they can think of is these fabulous stories
Right.
about her. And so it's like I'm so grateful for that
Yeah.
she got to a point where she understood who she was, what her thing was, and she could extend herself and share her passions without feeling this overlord telling her to stop it.
Yeah.
And it was really it's quite something, this thing we call life.
Yeah, and you know what? I felt the same. My mom passed away 7 years ago, and to hear my children talk about her,
Mm.
as opposed to the woman I knew. And I'm like, wow,
Yes.
she really did manage to pull it off. Like they have,
Mhm.
they have like incredible memories of her. And, I'm like, well, that's good. And now that I am a grandma, I feel the same way. I'm like, well, maybe I'm not, I need to connect more. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And like you said, it's just like, we're just kind of there and trying to,
Yes.
figure it out.
Figure
But
it out.
but the memoir, I mean, you went through She Writes Press, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I
Mhm.
love Brooke. I've
I do
interviewed her.
too.
I've interviewed
She's
her.
fabulous.
I love her heart, for getting these things out there and really like starting this company up and having the heart of women. And I love the blurb she gave your book. And, I was just like so happy for you because I was like, I think you found the right person to, bring this story to life with her.
Yes. Yes. There's there's such a satisfaction in my heart about working with a woman-based company, about stories that, to be perfectly frank, aren't I guess the word is not allowed, or people just don't want to hear it. Even family members, like, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it.
I know.
Um, and yet those who have come away with a new understanding of the makeup of the family, why I do certain things, or certain phobias that I have, that I continue to have, about relationships,
Mm-hmm.
about trust,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's. I think it's a good thing in the end. It's a good thing to tell the truth.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I mean, just reading your story and the different things, I think that going through it is one thing, but I used to get mad when I'd get the after effects of your childhood. It's like there's one thing to go through it, but then when you're getting older and you're realizing that some of it is not as obvious, we didn't know what was going to happen, but then the things that we carry with us and to get through that. And you said this book like really helped you heal at certain times. And I was really happy to hear that because, it's like, no matter when it happens, if it can happen, it's a good thing.
It's true. And it may have been, it's so funny because I started out wanting to write middle grade fiction. And every single time I'd compose a story, Dad was in it. And finally, my mentor, Laura Davis, said, you know what? I think you need to write about him. You need to write these stories and see where it goes. And it just led to the book.
Yeah. Well, so you have this book. I mean, it's just coming out, so you're kind of you're going to be in the part of, the publicity part of it and everything.
Yeah.
But are you going to go back are you going to go write something else, like write novels or?
I'm in the middle of historical fiction. Mostly, and it's about my grandmother's time in World War I. She was before the United States came into the war. She was in France driving an ambulance.
Yeah.
And so it's about her time there, and about veterinarians and different things that are involved in the story. The use of horses.
Yeah.
Because horses are a big theme for me anyway. Yes. And that was, yeah.
Yeah, That's awesome. Well, I can't wait. Okay, historical fiction is right up. I love historical fiction, and I'm sure you have a great story to tell. So, you're an amazing writer. This memoir was so good. I feel so blessed to have read it. And I want you to show everybody before we go that cover one more time because I love the
Oh,
cover so
certainly.
much, and they're going to be seeing that. Yes, I love that cover. So I just want to thank you and thank you for letting me be an early reader. And, I'm going to be, just for everybody out there, when this video comes out, I'm going to be giving away a copy of it on Instagram. And it was just so nice to meet you, Vanya.
Great to meet you too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you know where to find me when the next one comes out because I'll be
I
an early reader.
do.
I'll definitely read it. Well, thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Everyone for watching my interview with Vanya. Wasn't she awesome? I love her so much. It was my pleasure to read her memoir, and you're going to love it too. Go over to my Writing Fun Instagram account, and you can win a copy, and I'm going to have all of Vanya's links listed below. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed our video, and please subscribe because it makes me happy. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.